Oh, I didn't get my oh. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome in, everyone. Hello. Welcome in. We are talking about rebuilding your life after narc abuse. Hello, hi, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. It's saying that, it's not telling me how many people are on in the room. I don't know why it's not doing that, but it's okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy New Year. This is the first time I'm on since last year. So I just came back from a really incredible birthday trip. I was in Texas with my fam, my son. I had a great time out there. I was relaxing. I didn't do no sessions, no clients. I was just getting that relaxation in. You're filing your divorce now? Oh, freedom. That's what we're going to be talking about, honey. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that. That's why I came on, for people like you, Coco. Welcome in, everybody. I am life coach Lana Rackliffe. I'm also a deliverance minister. I help women and men heal from narc abuse. And we're talking about life after narc abuse. A lot of times when people are coming out of it, just like our sister who was talking about, she filed for divorce. She cutting the strings from that demonic, I don't even call it relationship. I call it a bondage ship. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, you have to relate to them. You have to understand them. You have to have empathy. You have to have compassion for somebody. You have to be friends with that person in order to be in a relationship with them. And when you're a narcissist, you're never going to be friends with them. They were never friends with you. It was a one-sided relationship the whole time. You thought that you had somebody special, but you really had a demon in the midst. It was a demon in the building. Like, that's how it is when you're with a narc. You're not in a regular relationship. It's beyond toxic. Yes, it's toxic, but it's beyond that because it's bondage. See, at least if it's something that's toxic, you could be like, well, dang, this is not right for me. You could kind of see it. But when you're in a narcissistic relationship that's abusive, your whole soul is in that. And it's so hard for you to get out of it because you don't even know what's wrong. You know something's wrong, but you just don't know it's wrong. And a lot of people don't know how to get out of it. So we're going to be talking about life after narc abuse today. If you guys are just joining me, I am life coach Lana Rackliffe. I am a deliverance minister. I've been a life coach for 10 years now. Well, actually, it's going to be 11 years I've been doing this. I've been helping people. But within the last couple years, I actually transitioned into helping people specifically heal from narc abuse because I was in a narcissistic marriage. I know exactly what that was like. And not only was I in a narcissistic marriage, y'all, I was raising narcissistic stepkids. Well, one of them was still a teenager. And when you're in a narcissistic family dynamic, you're coming in with love, light, healing. And then you have the narcissistic teenager that was like completely gone mentally, soul is all warped, the mother's messed up, the father's messed up, grandma messed up, uncle's messed up. That's why you really got to take your time when it comes to marrying people. Hello, everybody. Please take your time when it comes to marrying people. Because when I married into that family, I had no clue what I was marrying into. I thought I was marrying into a godly family, but the family was wicked as I don't know what. It was wicked. So a lot of times we get in, we fall for the okie doke from the very beginning. We think that we're with people who really are godly because they go to church or because they pray or they sending you a couple of scriptures and stuff like that, daily text. No, it's how you live your life. It's how you walk with God. It's not about you going to church and stuff like that, because there are pastors and first ladies and ministry teams that are just demonic. You ran into yours at the store. Oh no. So we gotta use godly wisdom and discernment when it comes to getting in these relationships, because it's very difficult to get out of it. I had a client yesterday who sent me an email This woman has only been married to the narcissist for 2 months, y'all. This man got her pregnant, and the moment she started to stand up for herself and hold him accountable to how disrespectful he was treating her, he kicked her out the house while she was pregnant. She's newly pregnant, y'all. They only been married for 2 months. 2 hours ago, you just walked out. Oh, God bless you, honey. Woo. This is what they do. They make sure narcissists have to break you down systematically. First, with the love bombing is manipulation. It's all this love. It's all this, everything is fast. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, all this future faking. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best love you ever had. It's going to be like this. And you really are in this fantasy when you're with them. And then once they know that you're locked in, they pop your bubble and you fall down. And when you're on the ground in that relationship, you're looking around and you're reaching your hand out to the narc and you're like, what happened to the love? What happened to the romance? What happened to the long talks all night? And they're like, what, you thought that was real? This is the real me. See, we got to be wise, not in our own eyes, but we got to be wise when it comes to the Bible and the word of God, because it's very clear. God's protocol is very simple when it comes to deciphering if somebody is of him or not. God tells us to guard our heart. God tells us to study the fruit of people that we meet. That's number 2. And number 3, he tells us to test the spirits to see if that spirit is of God. Because every time you meet somebody, either that person is sent by God, the Most High God, or that person is sent from the kingdom of darkness. And if we don't guard our hearts, thank you, Joy. Thank you so much for the rose. If we don't guard our hearts when we meet people, we're going to keep running into these narcs over and over and over again. It's a lot of women, clients that reach out to me. They're like, why do I keep meeting narcissists? I'm like, well, are you guarding your heart? Are you studying that person's fruit? Are you testing the spirit? They're like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, but you're a believer. You read the Bible. You're supposed to know how to do these things. When God says to guard your heart, he knows that that's how the spirit of bitterness gets in us. Thank you guys for the follows. The spirit of bitterness get into us through us not guarding our hearts. If we're just letting anybody in because we like the way they look, because we like the way they smell, they got money, they got a good job, they come from it look like a decent family, they're funny, oh, they good in bed, all this stuff. We're judging our whole lifetime based on these little things that really don't matter. And then when we get with these people, or we have children with these people, we get a chance to see how evil they really are. Thank you so much, Salt Light. And then that's where the anger, the regret, because we've been betrayed. But if we really peel back those layers, it's like, were we really betrayed, or were we ignoring the guidance of God from the very beginning? Because I know before I married the narc, I was having all these dreams of predatory creatures. I was dreaming of serpents, king cobras. I was dreaming of crocodiles. I was dreaming of all this crazy stuff when I was dating him, not married, not engaged, dating. God was showing me in the spirit that this man was sent from the enemy. The Holy Spirit had to pull you back. Yep. And you're wise, honey. You listen. Yes, I am on Instagram. I know. I'm on Instagram as Coach Luana, same name, and I'm also on YouTube, Coach Luana, same name. So if this app goes away, please follow me on YouTube and Instagram. I'm on there, y'all. Y'all same name. But we have to be very, very wise when it comes to how people come to us. God tells us to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. That means that we're supposed to study people. Before a serpent attacks, it's always studying its prey. It doesn't just lash out. Serpents are very cunning, right? God's like, don't let everybody know what you're doing. The Bible says don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So you're supposed to be over there observing stuff. If somebody tells you, and a lot of these narcissistic men, especially the religious ones, they'll be like, the Lord told me that you're my wife. You only met the guy a week. And you like, God told you that? He ain't tell me that. Oh, he told me that. And they'll argue you down about how they're right and you're wrong. That's a red flag. Because if God said that man is your husband, he's going to confirm that to you. There are things inside that you're going to know. And it's not going to be, oh, he's so cute. Oh, he got money. Oh, this. It's not going to be based on those things. The Lord is going to tell you that that man has the capacity, the heart, and the spirit to love you. As you grow in your life as a woman, as you go through menopause, as you go through your life changes, as your body changes, as you elevate in your career, sometimes you may make more money than him. God is going to say he has the heart, he has the capacity to be able to sustain your success and your changes in life. He's going to be able to grow with you because you're not going to be the same as in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, 60s, and beyond. You're not going to be the same person. But when you're in a narcissistic relationship, they will give you all these lies up front. And you sit there and think your whole life is going to be like that. It's going to be all sweet and nice. And these people come in as enemies. And if you are in idolatry, if you idolize love, marriage, relationships, if you want to get back at your ex because you got a new boo and all this other stuff, you will fall for narcissists. If you're in a rush because you're getting older and you feel like the clock is ticking, you want to hurry up and have a baby, you will run into a narcissist. So one of the things you got to do is check yourself and say, what's going on with me that I'm rushing this situation? I only met this person 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and they're talking about marriage and everything already. I don't even know them yet. I would say don't agree or don't marry somebody until you've gone through all the seasons with them. Winter, spring, summer, fall. A whole year. Let me tell y'all what happened to me. This is before I married the narc. I was dating this guy. We met in the summertime. I think we met in July. This was like 2014, a while ago. And everything was cool. He was coming by. He was even coming by 6 o'clock in the morning when he would get off work. He would make breakfast for me and my son. Everything was cool, right? July, we hanging out. August, everything was good. September, things were good. And then soon as October came in, he started acting funny. And I was just like, what's going on here? What about after the narcissist being not interested in a relationship at all? Yeah, that's the whole point. They were never interested in a relationship. The narcissist only wanted to pull supply from you, and whatever they deem supply, it could be sex, it could be the fact that you're well connected, you got money, it could be the fact that you look good on their arm, and by proxy that makes them look good. It could be that you give them a lot of attention and you feed their ego. It depends on what it is. Supply, all narcissists has that thing that they look for in that person, and sometimes it's just different. So I was dating a guy, October, he started acting funny. And I was like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, why is he acting funny to me? Like, the summertime, everything was good. And then now we going into the fall, he's acting different. So I spoke to his sister. His sister was best friends with my mother. And she was like, oh, you didn't, because she was like, what's going on with y'all? And I was like, I thought everything was going good, but he's acting funny. He's not calling me, this, that. And she was just like, oh, you didn't know? And I said, didn't know what? And she was like, oh, my brother gets like that around this time of year. And I said, get like what? She said he isolates. Like he does that to all of us. And I was like, he never told me that. And she was like, yeah, because our mother passed away, some years ago around this time of year. And so he'll go through like this kind of seasonal depression for a couple months. And then he snaps out of it. And I was just like, wow. So where I'm calling this guy, leaving voicemails like, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? What's going on? This dude was just ignoring my calls. And then when I spoke to his sister, she was like, oh, yeah, he goes through depression, blah, blah, blah. That's why I said, and I learned from personal experience, make sure you're with these people for a full year so you know what you're dealing with. They always, oh, yeah, well, the families is always going to enable the horrible behavior. You already know that. But I didn't know about narcissism at that time. I didn't know about narcissism. I was clueless. I was just like, okay, well, he's going through. And see, that's the thing. Narcissists will use victimhood because they all have a victimhood story. That all their exes were crazy. Their mama abused them. Daddy left them. Oh, their ex done took all their money in bankruptcy. And so they can't take you out on dates. They can't do. I'm telling you. That's how they do. Them narcs always have a victimhood story and they're always waiting for you to fall for it. I was thinking about that earlier today when I was making some breakfast. I said, you know what? And this is for the women. Please, 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 when you meet a man, if you're single and he comes in with these victimhood stories and stuff like that, your next question needs to be, thank you, Catrice. Thank you. Your next question needs to be, how did you heal from that? Okay, I know your mama left you at 2 and daddy was in jail at 5 and grandma and them was crazy. But how did you heal from that? Because what narcissists will do is lead with their victimhood story. So what will that do? That will make you put down your defenses. Because if you see somebody as a victim, you're not gonna be like guarded with them. You're gonna be like, oh, this person went through something. They, went through a lot. They're not gonna hurt me. That's the very thing that they're gonna do. Narcissists are cunning. They are like so good at getting people to believe that they're victims, but they're really victimizers. Yes, one gifted. They're always looking for sympathy. And that's one of the things that we have to learn to look for when we're meeting people. If somebody's leading with victimhood and everybody did them wrong, you better run. The devil from hell. Yeah, because what they're doing is making you feel as if, well, when I see this person do something wrong, I can't call them out on it. Because they've gone through so much and they like, I don't want to add to their suffering. Hold them accountable. Because their healing is on them. It's not on us. If your mother and your father abused you, the last 15 years of your life, guess what? Who fault is that? That's not my fault. I just met you. So now you want to punish me for what your parents did to you? Because they abandoned you, they didn't love you? But that's how we see it. So now we sitting there answering the phone 2, 3, 4 in the morning, listening to them cry and all that. And we feeling guilty for pain we never caused them. You know how sick that is? We over here feeling bad, running to save the day, listening to these stories over and over and over. And we are not the ones who inflicted that pain and trauma on them. But narcissists will trauma dump on us, though, won't they? Oh, I just don't want. I remember my ex-husband, a narc. He used to say, oh, my last wife, whenever we would get into arguments, she would turn her back on me and I would try to reach for her and she would reject me. So I just don't want you to do that. So what this man would do is say the most mean, horrible things to me, go to sleep, and then try to reach out and touch me. And that, in my mind, I was conflicted because I was like, this dude is super disrespectful. But then I'm thinking about the old pain that was caused from the ex. And then I was conflicted. I didn't know what to do. I was like, dang, I don't want to be next to him, but dang, I don't want to cause him more pain. That's what they do. That's what they do, y'all. That's what they do. They program you to really have it so that we don't protect ourselves. We protect them over ourselves. Ain't that what these narcs do? We're over here feeling responsible for the abuse that other people inflicted on them. So when we see that they're hurting us, we don't even stand up for ourselves. Using family death as an excuse. Yeah, they'll do that as well. Oh, this person passed away. Oh, that's why I'm doing. Listen, I didn't take that person off this earth. Why are you putting that on me? They trauma dump on you. They make you feel like I have to treat you as small as possible, and you have no right to speak against it because I'm a victim. Remember, I told you in the beginning, I'm a narc. I'm a victim. So I'm going to treat you as worse as possible, and you better not complain. You better not complain because you know what they're going to do? If you complain about the abuse they inflict on you, now they're going to smear your name and say you're just like their ex. Married with 8 years with kids and he had a double life. They all have a double life. That's one of the ways you know that you're with a narc, because people who are truly godly, they don't live in duality. They don't have a double life. They're very congruent. They're consistent to who they are. You don't have to sit there and question that person's loyalty when that person is walking with God, because they will reflect godly characters to you. And even when they mess up, because the Bible says a righteous man falls down 7 times and he gets back up 7 times. Even when that person falls, they will apologize sincerely. They will be accountable. They will be like, I'm very, very sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. And they will take account of how they, however they mistreated you, how that affects you, so that they don't do it again. They have compassion. They have empathy. They can see like that. I've hurt you. I'm sorry. But narcissists are not like that. Once they figure out the trick, they're going to use it to keep you in the line. It's like an invisible leash narcissists have. It's like that one thing that bothers you, they'll keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. Yes, they are soulless. And they have no fear of God, because the narcissist's heart, their hearts are hardened towards God. So if they're not afraid of God, who created them, who runs this whole universe, you think they're going to be afraid of you? You think they're going to care that they've hurt you? Yeah, it's witchcraft. It's definitely a spell. That's why it's very hard for people to get out of it. Because even when you're out of that narcissistic relationship, mentally, you're still back there. That's why I tell people, go through deliverance. I'm a deliverance minister. I'm also a life coach. I help people to recover and heal from narc abuse, because it's not enough that you left them. It's not enough that they left you. Why does he keep blocking and unblocking me and ignoring my messages? And then because he's trying to get you caught up in distraction, Sarah. The distraction and emotionalism. That's how you keep somebody in bondage. You have to stop playing the game and say, oh, okay, block forever. I blocked my ex-husband before we were divorced. I blocked him. Narcissists use your life, Sarah, as a revolving door. When they want to come and play with you, it's like a dog with a bone. You ever seen a dog with a bone that they'll bite on it and gnaw on it, and then they'll throw it to the side, and then they'll have another dog that comes sniff by their bone, and they get mad, and they, even though that bone been buried and everything else, they pull it out whenever they feel like it. That's how narcs see us. They don't see us as human beings. It's like I could pull you out and play with you, and then throw you back, and then go play with another bone and a new supply here and there and everywhere else. That's how narcs are. It's a little bone to play with. And then they throw you off to the side, and then they go play with another bone and all that. That's why they get mad when you move on and you find somebody that truly loves you. Because it's like in their mind, oh, somebody else came and took my bone away. That's how they see it. So it's not enough that the relationship is over. You got to go through deliverance, because there are spiritual attachments that are attached to you from that relationship that's still active. Thank you guys for the hearts and the follows. It's still active. So if this is 100% spiritual. This is spiritual warfare. You thought it was a relationship, but it really was spiritual warfare. When you said yes to that narcissist, you came into agreement with the plans of the demonic realm. You said, okay. You didn't know. I didn't know. But we came into agreement with that, because there were things that God was showing us. The Holy Spirit was like, red flags, run, run, run. We was like, no, he's nice. She's sweet. They're godly. They went through the similar thing like me. Then a lot of us, when we met these narcs, didn't it feel familiar? Didn't it feel like we knew them already? Familiar spirits. There are many spirits working at play. I remember before I married the narc, I went to go visit him. He lives in Vegas. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. I flew out to see him for a few days, a week or whatever. And then when I was there, he got some bad news about his father. His father wasn't feeling well, whatever. After the trip I extended my trip to kind of support him. But then once he took me to the airport, he was just very nasty. He didn't hug me, this, that. He was very he was very angry. And I was like, well, Dag, I'm about to hop on a plane. I mean, I didn't make your father sick. Like, why are you coming at me like that? It was just nasty. And I didn't know back then, but the spirit of Leviathan, which all narcissists have, which is the spirit of pride, Jezebel as well, which is the spirit of lust and greed, materialism. These spirits manifest through people in different ways. And so one of the ways that you'll know that somebody has the spirit of Leviathan is they're very prideful. But physically, how you'll know is they're very rigid. So if you try to hug a narcissist, especially when they're mad at you, their body will get like a board. It'll get like wood. It'll be very... and nothing could break that. And so when I hugged him, that was the first time Leviathan manifested in him in front of me. And so what that spirit was doing was testing me See, what they do before they devalue you completely, they have to abuse you in little increments. Like little poison, right? Just little increments of it. Just little drips of it. Because when they devalue you, that's when the mask come off. That's when it's full-fledged. But when in the love bomb, they'll have little drips of it. So you'll say, something's not right. But you don't really know because it's like little drips, right? So I went home. I was like, this relationship is over with. This dude let me get on a plane. He didn't hug me. He was acting nasty. You know what happened? Probably like an hour into me telling my son that, like, I don't think this is going to work. Them demons must have heard that conversation I had with my son. And this guy who's supposed to be my friend for 6 years, he calls me out the blue and said, hey, what's going on with you and the dude? Like, you had a good trip in Vegas. I told him everything, how the guy was acting crazy. You would think he would be like, yeah, you need to pay attention to those red flags. You know what this guy said? He said, no, you got to stay with him, Juana. He said, don't leave him. He's going through a lot. You know, you just said it yourself that his father's sick. That's how the demonic realm works. If anybody has an open door to the demonic, he will give them what? Words, suggestions to give to another person that will keep you in that spot. That was supposed to be my friend. My friend. Hey, daughter of the king. So what did I do? When I was set, I was like, y'all, this relationship is over. I'm done. I don't like the way this man was treating me. Spirit of doubt. Self-doubt came in. And I was like, dang, maybe he's right. When the first thought was to get out of that. What happened? I listened to that guy who was supposed to be my friend, but he really wasn't, who was sent by the enemy. And I reconnected with that demonic man, married him. And it was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. Hey, Lady Sauce. Thank you guys for the follows and the gifts. That's what happens when you're with a narc. When you're trying to get out, the enemy will send people who are compromised to pull you back in. And you won't even know that they're working for the enemy. Sometimes they don't even know themselves. They just hear voices telling them to tell you things and they follow through. If a person's walking with God, they're going to be like, well, I don't know if I should give her that advice because that might be a bad relationship. But he was just like, stay with him. Because the enemy wanted me to be married to a demon because he knew only a few years from that point, God was going to awaken me to who he created me to be. And he was going to activate me in my purpose. And the enemy was trying to break me down and link me up with a narc so he would destroy me. That's what he does, y'all. Y'all better watch this movie called ILLU. It's on Netflix. It's ILLEWOWO. And it shows you in that movie. It's a Nigerian movie because you know these American movies ain't going to show that. But you watch that movie, ILLU, and it's going to show you how demons will scour the earth looking for virtuous, godly women to link up with narcissistic men because they have to look. What God was asking Satan what he was doing. He said, I was going to and fro. What you mean you going to and fro? He was on the earth scouring, looking for people to devour. It's called ILLU. Let me see if I can write it in the chat. I'm so not good at it's ILLEOWO. Let me see. Comment. ILLEOWO. I think that's how you spell it. Movie. And it's on Netflix. No, I think it's ILE. Yeah, I think it's ILEOWO. Yep, that's it. Yep, and it's on Netflix, and it's a really good movie that shows women how the demonic realm will not only link you up with narcissistic, wicked men that are into witchcraft, but also how it will break down and destroy your family to get you. How demons will attack your family to get you. We don't know how powerful we are in the spirit. When you are chosen by the Most High God, you have such a light in you. You have power in you. You have things, you have gifts stored in you that you don't even know that's in there. I remember the narc, when I was married to him, he told me that I was more valuable than him and my son's father put together. And I said, why would you say something like that? He said, because of what you're capable of, Warner. And he looked at me and I said, what I'm capable of? He said, look at how you can create just programs, how you could just do things, how you're a coach, you're wonderful at what you do. And I was like, really? I mean, he rarely gave me a compliment, so I was really shocked at that. But that just shows narcs can see spiritually what is in you, and we can't even see. We're so busy making them an idol. We're so busy putting that relationship on this pedestal that we don't even know that we're with a devil who can see what we are. The truth. We don't see it because we're not looking for the goodness and the greatness of God that's within us. We looking outside ourselves, but we're supposed to be looking within. So when we get discarded, when we get abused, a part of that is we got to be accountable. That's our fault. Because God was showing us from the very beginning that these people was evil. And we just didn't want to listen. Yeah, you saw that movie, Daughter of a King? See, she saw it. She said that movie was an eye-opener to the spiritual realm. I'm telling y'all, when I tell y'all that I recommend a movie, and it's a spiritual movie, I'm telling you, that movie, ILLU, is on Netflix. Y'all got to see it. Because it literally shows you men on the ground with like this little, it's like a cauldron. I don't know what to call it, but they were scanning the earth looking. You see the pictures of different women, different black women. They're just scanning through, not her. Her. And they devise a plan to come against that young girl. This stuff is real. Y'all think this stuff ain't spiritual? Hey, Fiera, how you doing, honey? See, the enemy uses weak-willed, broken, and spiritually ignorant people to do his will. And a lot of us, we had all three. We were weak-willed, we were broken, we had a lot of childhood trauma that we never healed from, and we were spiritually ignorant to how this whole thing works. If you study demonology, you're going to see the way the spiritual realm works. It's not really hard to learn. You just understand the mission of a demon is to steal, kill, and destroy. You have to find out what bloodline curses are in your family. And once you learn that, then you're going to think back into your mind on how the enemy sent different people into your life to get you to come into agreement with those curses. So if you have a spirit of death in your family, like people are dying early and stuff like that, you'll probably see that there were many situations in your life where the enemy was sending people who lived like a high risk lifestyle, that they was into a lot of violence, all this crazy stuff, the D word, the G word, the pals, all kind of risky activities. And you like, dag, yeah, I always was meeting these daredevil type people. Yeah, because he was trying to get you to get taken out of here early. If you have a spirit of poverty in your family, the enemy will have people that can come in to drain you financially, to give you bad business advice and certain things like that. I'm telling you, he'll try to heighten things to get you addicted to materialism and mammon, which is the god of money. He gets you so wrapped up into materialism so that you don't even pay attention to God. Thank you so much, honey. Yeah, I just got it done like, I think 2 weeks ago. I'm still growing into my hairstyle. I like it though. I like the red color. But thank you. So this stuff with narcissism is real. This stuff is really true. And we have to know and understand that God says, even though you made a bad mistake, even though you didn't listen, I still will redeem you. So when you come out of a narcissistic relationship, because we're talking about healing, recovery after narc abuse, right? You have to, there's going to be a transformation that happens. So it's either you're going to be completely transformed and renewed by God. You're going to learn what your purpose is. You're going to know and understand why you went through what you went through. Because when you're with the narc, you're so caught up in emotionalism. You fighting all these battles with them and their family and friends and the church and work and the kids, that you can't get to a place where you could be like, oh my goodness. Just think, every time you want a little bit of peace with the narc, they're always ramping it up. They always coming against you. They always attacking you. You can never have peace to really sit and think. Even when you go away on vacation, they sending you horrible messages. You're like, oh my goodness. So when you go through this, you're going to transform either in your purpose. You're going to become the woman, the man that God created you to be. Or you're going to be a broken, fallen person, which is what a lot of people do. They become very broken. They stay in that stagnant state where they're very mad and angry at the narc. They're upset because they feel like the narc stole the best years of their life. They feel very angry. They feel like they were used. They feel like they were betrayed. And a lot of times these people stay in a spirit of bitterness and anger for the rest of their life. Or you could turn narcissistic. I've seen some of my clients. I've seen over the years where I'm like, this person came to me for help, but this person is actually narcissistic. So you will elevate, you will become stagnant and broken, or you will fall even further and become a narc. You're becoming a person God wanted you to be. The divorce date. Wow. January 27th. God bless you, honey. God bless you, Trina. God bless you. So you're one of the chosen ones that you will use everything that you've gone through to heal. That's what I did when I was divorced in early 2022. I went straight into ministry. God was like, go into ministry, go feed my people, go help my people. Let them know about how these spirits of Jezebel and Leviathan hurt people, destroy lives. I want you out there on the front lines. I was like, all right, Lord, that's what you want me to do. That's what I'm going to do, Lord. I got it. Coco said, yes, I tried to file before the inauguration. I'm still trying. Honey, keep praying. Because I have clients who, when they started with me, they're like, I've been trying to get divorced for the longest. And I'm telling you, they went through deliverance and God opened up them doors for them to go through. So keep praying, keep standing for it. Even if you have to fast for that, fast for that. Kara says, I've been struggling right now. After this, I'm struggling, honey. Send me an email or send me a DM. Kara, just follow me and send me a message, honey, and we'll talk. I'll pray for you. Yeah. Transformation feels like death. It is a death, Kara, it is. When you going through that, the old you has to pass away. God says to forget the former things. He said to renew your minds and spirits and souls and hearts in me. So yeah, you are. It says in the Bible, the old man is gone. The old person, you're never going to get her back. You're never going to get him back. You're never going to go back to the person you was. I wouldn't want to go back to the person I used to be because I was ignorant. I didn't understand. I thought you just prayed for something and that was okay. I thought that if I ever met a bad man that was that evil, that I would know very early on that person was a demon. I thought that they would just show up with the horns and the red face and a sharp tail. I was like in the slither, split tongue. I didn't know that he was going to come in a nice package and smiling and, I just pray every day. I didn't know that. I didn't know that this dude was a straight demon. I didn't know people like that existed, to tell you the truth. I mean, you see stuff like that on TV. You see it on Lifetime. You see it on 48 Hours. You see it on Dateline. I'm like, dang, I'm about to be a victim on Dateline? Like, who knew that you could meet somebody so wicked like that? But they exist. It's actually more of them on this earth than us. That's what's scary about it. That's why we have to follow God's protocol. God tells us to, guard our heart, test the spirit, and study a person's fruit. If we're not doing these things, we can't get mad at anybody because we keep getting tricked out here. Why do we keep getting tricked? We keep getting tricked because we're not following God's protocol. If we follow what God is telling us to do, we will not be deceived again. We're going to take our time. We're not going to sit over here and talk about, this man is the man. This is the man I dreamed of. We're going to be like, oh, no, I'm going to use wisdom. I'm going to use discernment. Yeah, he look good. It sound good. Good money. He say he go to church every week. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. But let me find out who this man really is. And another thing, I'm going to be teaching probably this spring a course on noticing the red flags. And identifying the counterfeits. It's going to be an incredible program. I'm going to be teaching it live on Zoom. So if you ladies want to know about that, please DM me. I will add you to the list. So when that program becomes available, it's going to be a 6-week program. We're going to go through all questions you have. We're going to talk about how a man has to go through a conversion process. How will you know if this man is really godly or not? He has to have gone through a conversion process to become godly, just like Paul. Paul was taking Christians out. He went through his conversion process, and then guess what? He was elevated in God. Just like Abraham. Abraham was with his family. It was a bunch of idolaters. Then he went through that conversion process. He had to separate from his wicked family, Lot and them on all that. And then guess what? He elevated in God. It was like that. It was always look at Ruth. They all had some kind of conversion process where they went from the old person and they transformed to the new person. What you went through, bruh? Break down your like we not going to get fooled in 2025 no more. We not getting fooled by these narcs no more. Tell me the truth. What you went through. Don't just tell me, oh, you was studying the Bible and you did a few fasts and you was talking to your pastor because they good for that. Oh, me and my pastor. Your pastor a narc too. Okay? Your pastor evil just like you. No, I want to know about how you converted from being this man, how you said you used to be wicked, to the man that you are today, which is godly, walking on the righteous path. I got enough time. Sit here and tell me step by step how God healed, saved, delivered, and transformed you. Tell me, break it down, because I'm not going to be fooled again. You're not going to sit here and try to make me think that you're this godly man because you go to church every Wednesday for Bible study and Sunday for the full service, and you evil and demented, because that's what they do. They look for women who don't know these things. How did this man transform from that to that? Don't tell me you woke up one day and you just, because nobody in the Bible just woke up one day and they was just a godly person. They went through a process. Joseph went through a process. Moses went through a process. They didn't just wake up like that. We are going through a process right now. And we would be able to tell these men exactly what happened to us, who we used to be, how God healed, transformed us, and how he elevated us. And if he can't tell you that, then that man is lying to you. That woman is lying to you for the men. You need to know how they think, how they process things. How do they know when God is convicting them from doing sins? What do you know? What do you do when you get angry? How do you respond when you're disappointed in life? We got to ask these questions. Do you start hooking off on the family, start punching walls and breaking stuff when you mad? You coming home raging out on me and the kids? Like, how do you handle life's disappointment, sir? Because nobody ain't changing overnight. And see, these are the huge details that we don't pay attention to this. Oh, he said he used to be on drugs, but then God changed him. Okay, you went to rehab. I get that. You had to detox that stuff out your system. But I want to know what happened here. What was the conversion process here? How do you come against those cravings? This is the real meat. This is when God says that you're a mature Christian, when you're asking these questions from the beginning. I don't care how you look, bro, because truth be told, I'm going to get used to your face. I'm going to get used to your body. I'm going to get used to your money. I'm going to get used to going on trips. And truth be told, I could give all that to myself. You tell me the truth about what you went through and the shoes that you walked in. How do you know when you fall and when you're about to backslide? What do you do to prevent yourself from going back? What do you do? How do I know when it's unsafe to be with you? How do I? Come on. I'm going to be posting this live on YouTube tomorrow. So if you guys feel like y'all want to go back and write these questions down, I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. Catrice said they act covertly. They don't want nobody to know the truth. My husband acted like that when he was in the church, and 4 years later he changed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's why we have to go to the Lord and say, Lord, did you send this man to me? Did you send this? Is this your son? Because God is everybody's creator. God is not everybody's father. We have to understand that. God says there is the we, like us, the chosen ones, the godly ones, and then there's the tares. God is the creator of all. He's not everybody's father. The movie is called Deborah ILLU. It's ILLEOWO. ILLEOWO, and it's on Netflix. So we got to understand that the people that we get with that are narcissistic are demons in human flesh. They are a warehouse for unclean spirits in a human body. The enemy comes to steal, take us out, and destroy. And so these people who are demonized will do whatever they can to undermine the plans, the callings, and the destiny and purposes of God. He will do that. And so we can't be on the wings of love, just the two of us together flying high. No, we're going to have to cut that off. Because truth be told, if it's good, it's good. And God blesses it. But you have to know if it's bad. The movie is called ILLU. I'm going to put it in the chat again because y'all keep asking. ILLEOWO. It's on, let me try to pin that comment. It's on Netflix, and it's a really incredible movie. It's a Nigerian movie, and it shows you how the enemy will send wicked men, narcissistic men, to godly women to get them to come into bondage so they could feed off of them their energy, the purity of their energy spiritually. And that's what narcs were doing to us. The narcs was feeding off of us spiritually, our light, because they don't have light in them. They have no boundaries, no morals, yeah, everything in them is from the realm of darkness. That's why a lot of them are very good in bed. A lot of them are very good in bed because those spirits of lust, they're a house for them. So the stuff that they doing to you sometimes, it's not even them doing it. It's the spirits that's acting that stuff out in you. Now, my ex, I mean, he was basic, but I'm just saying, a lot of them have like, where girls be like, I can't stop. I just can't go away. It's like, you better get delivered, girl. Because a lot of them have a lot of STDs too. Many of them are, they have addiction issues for sure. Yeah, y'all should definitely check that movie out for sure. Because that movie, I saw that movie a year and a half ago, and it just blew my mind. Me and my son watched it. And when we watched it, I was just like, wait, what? And so I was like, I got to tell my followers about this movie because a lot of people don't know about it. And American movies are not going to show you the spirit realm from that standpoint. It's going to be like, ooh, woo, woo, woo. It's going to be like a ghost coming through the door and everybody hiding in the house. No, them Nigerian, them African films will show because they know that this stuff is real. Alicia said mine was basic. Yeah, he was basic too. But they have a lot of narcissistic men and women who are really like pros in bed, and they work their whole life to perfect that because that's how they hook people in. So even when you want to get out of that relationship, you're so hooked on the sex that you can't. Y'all going to stop with the name of this movie. Now I already done pinned it. Let's see if I can find it again. I'm going to try to pin it. That's the movie right there. And so we got to know if you're a very carnal woman, if you're a very carnal man and you're very lustful, you're going to get hooked on that sexual stuff. And then guess what? You're going to keep getting STD after it because they don't like to use protection. A lot of narcs will not use it. They just won't. And so you'll be sitting there thinking like, oh, okay, like I'm good. Like this person just sleeping with me. No, they sleeping with everybody. Because narcissists know where they're going. They know that they're going to stay with Satan. When they don't want to go to heaven. They don't. Barkley, you said you seen that? Yeah, that movie is good. It just shows a lot. When you go through your healing process, you definitely have to take time to pause and reflect on what you've gone through. A lot of times we go into survival mode because a lot of times they drain us financially. These narcs will drain us. And so you won't even have the finances to be able to take care of yourself. So you'll be in like survival mode and you're just trying to, pay this bill and pay this bill. You're trying to feed yourself, feed your kids and stuff like that. And so they'll lead you like that. That's why I tell women, especially if you have kids with narcissists and stuff like that, you could need to save money. Even if you need to get a secret account or whatever, save money and stash it. Where's their karma? Alicia, they live their karma every single day. Can you imagine waking up in the first thing your first thought is to do evil? And your last thought is to do evil. And you, before you go to sleep, you think about who fed those demons in you. My ex used to constantly have to take Advil. Like he was popping it like it was Tic Tacs. And I was like, why are you constantly taking? He was like, I get bad headaches. Yeah, because those demons was tormenting him all the time. They live their karma. I'm going to do a video on that one day. Because people are always asking me that, Coach Luana, when are they going to get their karma? They're living it, honey. That negative narrative that they've been buying into from when they were children, because a narcissist's soul is trapped by Satan. It's a soul trap that they have, that they operate from. The true them is trapped. And so what they live out is a fake image. Everything, that's why they can't stand you. Because you're true and authentic to who God created you to be. And they can't be like that. They can't. Yep, yours had headaches too. Yeah, he had constant headaches. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Oh, just leave me alone. I was like, okay. This stuff is real. They are always tormented, always mentally, emotionally. That's why they get so jealous, so envious of people, because they're always in competition with you. So things are going well for you. You got a promotion at your job. You lost weight. You looking good. Your kids doing good. They'll even get jealous over your kids. If you had kids before you met the narc and their kids is falling apart, your kids is doing well, they're going to get jealous over your kids for doing well. Because my ex was very jealous over my son. And his daughter, the other one was, she was on that Coca-Cola, let's just say. And the younger one, she was like on everything. She was sleeping with all these people. She had a horrible reputation in Vegas and stuff like that. And my son was just doing really well. And he was so envious of my son. He even one time said that he was jealous because my son had a better mother than he did. Who thinks like that? Oh, you had a better mother than I did. Dude, you almost 50 years old. You sitting there jealous of my little teenage son? Who thinks like that? They do. Everything that they do is inverted. How narcissists think, every time something's good, they see it as bad. Every time something's bad, they see it as good. Everything is inverted. That's why therapy doesn't work for them. If you take a narc to a therapist, next thing you know, the therapist is going to be on their side. 9 times out of 10. Because they're master manipulators. They know how to cry on cue. They have those spirits that they have, those spirits of seduction, which comes from the spirit of Jezebel. They're able to manipulate and allure people in and charm them. So that therapist, by the end, they're going to look at you like you the crazy one, like you the narc. And if the narc does hold them accountable, they're going to be like, they don't want to go to therapy no more. I don't like that therapist. You're going to be hopping from therapist to therapist to therapist. And it's not even a therapist, it's them. Them demons do not want them to be accountable, because if they're accountable, that means that a person got to be humble. In order for you to be humble, that means that there's something you have to honor that's greater than you. And a narc ain't going to bow to God, and she or he is not going to bow to you. They're not. In their minds, that's how they see it. Them being accountable, being humble, being honest, being transparent, that's them bowing to you. And even though it's not like that in reality, but that's how they see it, because they see themselves as gods. That's why I did a live that said narcissists don't want love, they want worship. They want a person that's going to completely bow out to them. That's why when you met them during the love bomb phase, it felt amazing, because you was giving them all this attention. You didn't know they was crazy and deranged. You didn't know that they was a demon in human flesh. You didn't know that narc was going to waste your time. You ain't know that. You thought that you done met Prince Charming. You thought that you met the girl of your dreams. That narc was playing you like a fiddle, playing me like a fiddle. And then once the mask fell off, then it was like, oh my goodness. I was like, how am I going to get out of this? But I was already married. See, my ex, he didn't manifest until 2 months after we were married. When he went crazy, that's when I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know he was a narc, but I was like, this dude is crazy. I said, maybe he bipolar. I don't know. But once I got divorced, God said, he's a narcissist. Was it Trevi? He started calling me a narcissist. A lot of them, they project, honey. They know what they are. They'll start projecting onto you what they are. Narcissists, a lot of times, will call other people narcissists. That's one of the things that's really crazy, though. Can you imagine a demon calling you a demon? You're like, what? My husband waited 5 years. He waited 5 years? Not 5 years. Alicia, how long did it take me to heal? Well, I'm still in the process of healing, right? Because, it's a lot of psychological work. But like I say 80% of my healing is done. It took me 2 years. 2 years. Yep. 2 hard years. But I wouldn't take it back for nothing, because what I learned about myself and the people that I've helped, you guys helped to heal me. So it was 2 years. I was married to him for 3 and with him for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years together, married for 3. And so once I got it out, it took me 2 years to heal, like the big chunk stuff. Now, there's little residual stuff come in every now and then, but I'm able to cast that down and keep it pushing. You're welcome, Isabel. I'm still there, but I'm running as soon as I get the funds. Yeah. And honey, pray. Pray that the Lord increases you and he guides you out of that, because some people don't have the money to leave the relationship. I didn't have the money to leave, but God did tell me 8 months before the divorce, when I didn't know that I was going to go through a divorce. He told me to start packing my things and pushing it in the back of the closet. And I didn't know what was happening, but I listened to God. And when I pushed things in the back of the closet, by the time that man was like, oh, it's time for you to go, me and my son didn't have enough time to really get everything together. But because I listened to God and I started packing before, it wasn't like a huge thing because our things were already packed. But he's such an evil person that he would have kicked me and my son out and we wouldn't have had nothing. All our stuff would have been on the lawn and he was like, oh, bye. He's that evil like that. Yeah, you have to pack. Yeah, you have to pack, honey. And get to a place of safety. That's a part of the healing as well. You have to get to a part of a place of safety, because when you're in that, those spirits that they transfer into you during that relationship, you will be mentally tormented. Especially if you don't have family or friends helping you, you're going to be tormented. Oh, you should have stayed. Oh, this, or see, your life is hard. Now you homeless. You sleeping in your car. Oh, you wouldn't even have to go through this if you would. Them demons will torment you. Just trying to read some of y'all comments. My son is amazing. They do small things like hide your keys, misplaced things. Yeah, my ex, he took my New York State ID and he tossed it. He stole it. Because I used to get a lot of attention. Y'all know I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. So I moved to Vegas to be with him. And every time we would go to restaurants, I would get carded and everything else. And so they were like, oh, you from New York? Like my ID was like a conversation piece. And he got so upset about that. And then one day I went through my wallet and my ID was gone. And I never lose stuff like that. Everything else is there. My ID is gone in my wallet. My credit cards, everything is there except for my ID. Why would my ID be gone? So he took it. I know he did. And they do weird stuff like that. Anything that gives you attention, that steals attention away from them, they will get rid of it. I know a guy I used to be friends with. He said that his ex that he was married to, he had a favorite, like it was like a thick sweater that made him look, because he was a bodybuilder. And so he used to wear this shirt and he would get all this attention. And the ex-wife, she was a narc. She would get so upset. So he said one day he came home from work and he saw that same shirt where all his muscles was popping, It had bleach on it, y'all. Now this woman been washing clothes forever. She never, and it was a colored shirt. So it's like, come on, girl. I think it was like navy blue or something like, and it was bleach poured all over it because she was getting attention that he was getting attention that she wasn't getting. And narcs don't like when you outshine them. Remember, they're always in competition with you, competition with me. That's how they are. Busted your window and cut your brake. Oh my goodness. I was with him for 10 years and it took me 1 year to heal. It's always layers, honey. They do small, yeah. It's always other layers. Sometimes you'll think that you've healed from something. That's a significant amount of time. Sometimes you'll think that you'll heal from something and something will trigger. And that's not to get upset or anything. It's really God highlighting the things that you need to address. Because when you go through narc abuse, that's the worst abuse that you can ever go through. So let's talk about, before I go, because I got to make some dinner. I'm going to make some salmon and some broccoli and some Spanish rice. I've been craving I'm telling y'all. 2025, we got to get it together. Journey says, oh my God, this morning I was so triggered, and I'm like 5 years later, how? Yeah, honey, it happens. It happens to all of us. You could I haven't been triggered in a very long time, but it just happens. It could be a scent, like the Narcissist cologne, perfume. It could be something on a television show, a movie that you could just be like, and it could just kind of take you back. Somebody may post something on here on social media where you'll just be like, oh my goodness, I went through that. So it's okay. It's just showing, God is just revealing to you like where you need healing. You making catfish? I know that's right. I ain't going to be here all night, but I will be on tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow to talk to y'all too, because I haven't been on in the new year. I've been in Texas, traveling out with my family and my son, and just having a great time for my birthday. My birthday was January 10th. I was just out there and having a great time. So I came back. The Lord said, get back on the horse. What you doing, Warner? You having all this fun. It's time for you to get back out there. I said, all right, Lord, I got you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brittany. The name of the movie is ILLU, ILLEOWO, and it's on Netflix. Thank you, guys, for the late birthday wishes. I had a wonderful time. I did not want to come back to Connecticut, but the Lord was like, you got work to do. You better come back. I was like, all right. So let's talk about the narcissistic spiritual transference, the cloning process. This is just, I was so angry, though. I haven't been that mad when memories come up. Why are they... of him strength. You probably got to go through deliverance, honey. How do you deal with the triggers? I haven't been triggered for a long time, but I think the last time was probably like maybe a year ago. And what I've done is just breathe, just breathe and count. And I remind myself that I'm out of bondage. Because a lot of times when you get triggered, sometimes you could get panic attack. I've never gotten that from this man. I had a panic attack when I was with this other guy years ago. But when I came out of his marriage, I had to breathe. Because when you're traumatized, your brain will kind of take you back. You'll be back in that situation, like mentally, even though you're physically not there. So I would definitely pray about that. And if it's happening continually, go seek deliverance. I'm a deliverance minister. I'm a life coach. I can help with that. There are other deliverance ministers out there. Read the Bible. There are certain scriptures like Psalm 91, Psalm 23. Read the book of Proverbs. Read the book of Proverbs. So good. But fast, pray, call somebody that's safe, a friend, a godly friend, somebody that loves you, that will pray for you. I have friends and people that are very, very close to me, God sent in my life, that are like family. So if I feel squirrely, I'll be like, can you pray for me? I'm feeling a little irritated, whatever. Yeah, I got you, sis. I'm gonna pray for you. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah. So when you get triggered, breathe, pray, read the word. God may call you to fast. Because narcissists transfer spirits of infirmity. You're welcome. They transfer spirits of infirmity into us because narcs hold their warehouse for demonic spirits. And so when you have sex with them, you become one flesh. And so whatever's in that narc is going to go in you. So if they have like thoughts of unaliving themselves, like my ex did, they have spirits of misery in them, spirits of division, anger, rage, addictions. So that stuff can go into you. So a lot of times people be like, well, I never used to smoke. And then once I got with the narc, I started smoking. I started drinking. I started doing this. I started cursing. I have a lot of clients who have said that they started picking up the bad cursing habits, like foul language and stuff like that. And they never was like that before they met the narc. Yup. D. Marie says she got sick. Most people get sick because all narcissists have spirits of infirmity. The Bible speaks of it. It's spirits that causes sicknesses in the body. And so that could be mental illness or it could be physical sicknesses as well. Do this. So that happens. So when you go through the narcissistic, and I'm going to just read this off so you guys can see that. So the narcs, I'm just going to read off some of their characteristics. They are liars. They're double-minded. They are demonically driven. They suffer from depression, anxiety, anger issues. They are reprobates, just like the Bible tells us in Romans that they have reprobates minds. And a reprobate just means that a person that their conscience is seared. They're wired to do evil. Their cup of iniquity has overflowed. Narcissists are manipulators. They have self-hatred. They suffer from low self-esteem, jealousy, envy. They are very self-absorbed. They're controlling. A lot of them suffer from sleeping disorders. They have black and white thinking. I was saying that earlier. They think inverted in an inverted way. They live to oppress people, and they are spiritually oppressed. And so those spirits that torment them, they actually come against us. They use us as a punching bag. Do they ever come out? What do you mean, honey? Do they ever come out? Do they ever come out of what? You're welcome, sister. God removed you. I'm telling you, when a lot of people are like, Dad, what's my life going to be like on the other side? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Maybe not the first year. But after that, it's amazing. Most of my clients say that. When that second, third year is hitting. Because you start getting, you get your looks back. You get your godly glow back. Your money start coming back. You start looking, your body start changing. You start dropping that narc weight. If you gain weight, you start losing it. If you got too thin, you start gaining that healthy weight back. You start being restored in your mind. You start trusting yourself again to make good decisions. Everything changed. You getting your hair done. You start walking down the street with confidence. You start walking with God. You feel spiritually protected now. It's a different kind of glow up when you drop them narcs because you're always guarded with them. It's like you have an invisible body armor on. You just waiting for them to punch you. You lost 20 pounds. I'm telling you. Do the narcissists ever come out? What do you mean, do they ever come out? Do they ever change? Because most of them don't. If we could say anybody was a narcissist in the Bible where that person changed, where they had those characteristics, was Paul. And that was one person. But most people who started out evil, and I'm talking about they started out evil and they were like narcissistic, not evil through ignorance like Ruth, right? Because Ruth was raised in like this idolatrous, she was raised in an idolatrous society. They was taking kids out. They was sacrificing. They was doing wicked stuff. She just didn't know. But she changed. So it's a lot of people in the Bible, they was evil through ignorance. Like they didn't enjoy it. They didn't know what they was doing. That was just the society at the time. But Paul actually enjoyed taking out Christians. Oh, thank you, AJ. Your brother Charles. Do I know your brother Charles? You say he's proud of me. Do I know him? I know my father's name was Charles. I'm finally a little, yeah, Isabel. And I'm telling you, when you come out on the other side, you start to trust yourself more. Because that's one of the things that the narc took away from us was our self-trust. Like, we didn't really trust ourselves anymore, because it's like, dag, if I picked you and you was the worst, I don't even trust myself to make good decisions anymore. So you don't trust people, you don't trust yourself, and you really think your whole life is going to be a series of unfortunate events. But that's why it's important to go through deliverance, because that demonic chatter that the narc had, it goes into you. You start feeling self-doubt. You feel like you can't do it. You feel like you're going to be a loser. You're going to be single forever. You're going to be broke forever. Everything that the narc said against you, you really start to believe it. That's why you got to go through deliverance. That's what I help my clients with. I'm like, listen, you got to go through that process, because even though, I haven't been with the narc in years, but that stuff is still active. Why do you keep meeting narcissists after narcissists, and they come in different forms? It's not always romantic. They could come in a friendship form too. When I was out of that marriage, I started meeting women that were narcissistic. And I was like, dang, this is supposed to be another coach. This is supposed to be like a sister in Christ. And she evil too. I'm like, what is wrong with these wicked? I'm fine. I'm meeting all these people. But once I went through deliverance, that stopped happening. And I got a chance to understand that when I was in that marriage, my ex had a spirit of Judas, which is the spirit of the betrayer. And so that spirit was connected to me. Even though I wasn't married to him anymore, that spirit was still active. So I had to go through deliverance, and I had to come out of agreement. When you come out of agreement with these demonic spirits, they will not have access to you. D. Marie says, oh my God, yes, my coworkers, I had to cut them off. Yeah, because we already, as women, we're trying to prevent ourselves from meeting narcissistic men, but they could come in the form of women, friendships, people at work, people at church, people at school, your neighbor. They come in different forms. So you kind of got to keep your head on a level to which you're always watching yourself spiritually. You can't just think, okay, I got to watch out for narcissistic men. No, you got to watch out for the spirits. It's the spirits operating through people. And when you pay attention to the spirits, that's when you look beyond the flesh. That's why Jesus, when he was dying on the cross, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He was saying, like, physically, y'all may have crucified me, but y'all don't know the spiritual ramifications of the evil that y'all did to me. Y'all don't know how y'all going to be roasting in the pit for the rest of y'all life. Y'all thought y'all really did something, but you really did nothing. You really destroyed yourself. Just like the narc, when he came against you, when she came against you, they thought that they was destroying you, but they really destroyed themselves. Because God says, as a man, what? Reap, he shall sow. Whatever you sow evil things, you're going to reap evil. Whatever demonic seeds you plant on this earth, you're going to reap a harvest of evil. And a lot of these narcs, when they get older, their family don't want nothing to do with them. They end up in hospice, passing away by themselves. They end up in nursing homes. They be in their 40s and 50s and stuff, having all these heart problems, dementia, strokes, all kinds of stuff. STDs done took over their body. They all diseased and riddled up. And so people like, oh, when they going to get their karma? They're living it. Y'all know that in the Bible, it talks about the cup of iniquity. That means that every evil deed that you do without repentance, it keeps building and building and building and building. And then one day, that evil that the narc does, it reaches the heavens. And the people's souls that they've hurt, that they've tried to destroy, their souls cries out for justice. And God comes down and he brings his justice down on these people, and then they finished. If he has grace and mercy on them, that person may be messed up, the narc, but then they can repent and change, but most of them don't. Because for them, it's like, what's in it for me that I'm going to repent to you? I've been getting away for all these decades of doing this evil. Why I'm going to change for? That's why certain people that are just, it's the wheat and the tares. They wired to do evil. They just are. Just are. The older they get, the worse they get, because that cup of iniquity in them, that it's like they hollowed out for evil. Whereas when they were children, it was hope for them because they just were young. They didn't know what they were doing. But as they grew, they came to the age of accountability, and they were going year after year, decade after decade, just doing evil. They enjoy inflicting pain on people. It's so many wives who be like praying and fasting for their husbands and, Lord, please change his heart. I did all of that. And guess what? Them demons jumped from him to me. And those demons attacked my spine, and I couldn't walk for a whole week, y'all. I was fasting and praying for that narc, and I ended up hurt. So I tell people, if you know that your mate is a narc, you could pray, you could fast. But I'm telling you one thing, if that person's heart is hard towards God, they will not change. I've experienced it. I was reading scriptures. I was fasting. I was praying. I was talking to the pastor. I was talking to the first lady. I was talking to everybody who would listen to, like, God, please. I was on my hands and knees praying for this man to change when I was married to him. And I remember God told me, I said, God, why won't you save the marriage? God yelled at me. He said, because he don't want me. He doesn't want me. And I remember when God yelled at me, I stopped asking. And I just was like, and in that moment, I knew that God was like, it's a choice. It's a choice for the narc to say, okay, I know that I've been doing evil. God, I've been on the wrong path. I've been hurting my wife. I've been hurting my family. I don't want to be like this no more. Lord, please forgive me. I repent for all I've done. God, change me. Create in me a clean heart, a clean mind, Lord. Restore, redeem me. They won't do it. Yours is a preacher. Mine was a deacon in the church, and he probably still is. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm guessing he's still in there. Yep. That's how they are, honey. And so when we come out of it, we have to stop thinking about what did we do wrong. Because we didn't make these people narcissistic. We didn't turn them evil. We didn't make them like that. A lot of them got like that through some kind of abuse, or it could have been on the other spectrum. They were really entitled. Their parents and families spoiled them. Thank you, Kay, for the gifts. Their families spoiled them. They grew up with a mindset of entitlement where they was never really told no. And they think that they're like, if you think you're going to tell me no, we're going to have a problem. So it could be through some form of abuse, also through generational curses. Kids will get like that because if the whole family is selfish and narcissistic, those spirits transfer. Just like in the Bible, it talks about righteous seed. Read Ezra 10. And it talks about wicked seeds. It's all throughout the Bible. So if a family is evil and wicked, it's like, okay, God is like, well, the rest of the kids in your family, they're going to be just like y'all. It ain't going to be no blessings that come back in. It is what it is. No, you didn't do anything wrong. No, nobody on this live, nobody watching in the future that was married or in a relationship with a narc have made them like that. They want us to feel like we're the reasons why they're like that. But no, they was psychotic and foolish before we even met them. For sure. We didn't make them people like that. And they made a choice every day to hurt others. They made a choice every day to hurt you. Whether it's through lies, manipulation, gaslighting, triangulation, smear campaigns, stonewalling you. They made a choice to do that. You're welcome, Kay. They made a choice. We didn't make these people evil. They made a choice to do that. How many times have we said sorry to these people for things that we should have never apologized for? How many times? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm saying sorry because I woke him up in the middle of the night. He was snoring so loud. It was like a daggone truck in his throat. And I'm saying sorry. Oh, you woke me up in the middle. I was like, I just couldn't sleep. Oh, I'm telling you, don't wake me up no more. He just going, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for, I just tapped the guy and said, hey, you snoring really loud. Just turn over. That's it. I wasn't yelling. We apologizing to demons. And it was never enough. You could not love that person enough. It's nothing you could have placated and it's nothing you could do. They are a black hole on the inside. There's nothing that you could have given to them that would have satisfied them. Never. Never. Even with them being with a new supply. That new supply, they're never going to be able to satisfy them either. Because it's a soul issue. It's not no sex issue. You whack in bed. You don't know how to cook. You broke. You're not pretty enough. You're not thin enough. You're not this enough. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's a soul. Their soul is empty. And God says there shall be no rest for the wicked. When somebody is wicked, they will never have rest. They will never have peace. Do you see these people that got billions of dollars on the earth? They always into something evil. Creating horrible medicines and stuff to take the kids out. poisoning the air, the water, all this stuff that these people are doing. And you like, Dad, you got billions of dollars, you got hundreds of millions. Why don't you help feed the homeless, build healing facilities, fix the education, the medical, do something good? They won't. Because that is the curse that they've brought upon themselves. When you separate yourself from God, you are a curse. Like the Bible says, they are a curse. They cut themselves off from God. So that means the benefits of God, meaning them being able to receive love, them being able to hear from God, having godly wisdom, discernment, being able to have joy, they don't have access to that. Yup, did he wanted them. No matter how much that man had, who got to have a freak off party that lasts for a whole weekend to the point where people are hooked up to IVs to recover from that? That's not even fun. That's not even sexy. That is a demon the desires are unquenchable. That's scary. You're having so much sex that you're almost passing away. Who would enjoy that? A demon. Sick people in this world. That's why if you see somebody early on, the God we serve will not let us go into something and without warning us first. The Bible says pride comes before the fall. We be mad prideful. Oh no, I know he ain't like that. I know she ain't. That's my bestie. They ain't gonna do me wrong. God is like, okay. How many people best friends done set them up to get robbed? The R word. Stuff taken away. House. We are in a time right now where these spirits are not hiding anymore. And the stuff that they're telling broken, weak people to do is on a whole nother level. So we have to make sure that we are very spiritually fortified. We are connected to the Most High God. So we're not sitting over here being connected to these people and we thinking that they're a friend or family, and they're not. Because God is going to be calling a lot of people to separate from their family. He's been doing it for a while, but it's like a hard correction is coming for a lot of people where it's like separate or pass away. Let me put it in a nice way. Because whatever in your family, if they are wicked like that and they are unrepentant, guess what? By you walking with God, you are a direct threat to those spirits that have been running through your family for generations, and they will take you out just so that those spirits could run and be free and do the evil that they've been doing. I had to separate from my family. I knew it. I know my mother, a few days ago on my birthday, she sent some message through somebody else or whatever. And it's just like, when I was going through the worst time in my life, you were nowhere to be found. In fact, you put your foot on my neck and tried to make me feel as if I deserved that. You didn't even offer not one time to help me, to be like, hey, Warner, I heard that you was going through that horrible divorce. Are you okay? You need anything? I wasn't even a thought. My family did not one time reach out to me and be like, yo, you good? Who helped me out of that? God. God brung every penny. Where I live now, he brung everything, my apartment, everything. The godly, loving people that's in my life right now, God brung them in. He says, separate from them. The Bible says, if you love your mother and father more than me, you are not worthy of me. Some people idolize their family. And God is saying that life that you want, that marriage that you want, you ain't never going to get it until you separate from them. Because if you get married to a godly spouse, they going to destroy it. They going to come against it. But you don't want to listen. You think that you're going to be able to walk with God and then hold hands with your wicked family. It ain't going to work like that. My life got better when I cut them off. I kept it moving, period. And I never looked back. When I was going through that, no one was there either. Yeah, honey, but sometimes that's the best, because nobody going to be able to take the credit but God. When you was going through your lowest moment, nobody was there but God, because he's going to get the credit, honey. And God revealed the hearts of the people who was in your life. So as you heal and you elevate, just like how I am, I'm not sitting here saying that, God, I wish that they was there. No, because guess what? They never was really there to begin with. When you stand back and reflect on the people that was in your life, when you went through your hardest moment, they wasn't there. They wasn't there. Because they never wanted to be there. They was only there for you when things were going well, and when things wasn't, they dipped out, because that was truly them in the very beginning. That's why in the when you going through it, it feels horrible, right? It's like the worst pain ever. You're going through betrayal, trauma is horrible. But once God heals you, you like, Lord, I'm glad that it turned out like that, because the only one that can get the glory is God. I just had myself, my son, and my cat. That was it. I ain't have nobody else. God said, I'm going to heal you. I'm going to restore you. I'm going to get you your home back. I'm going to bring everything back. And he has, and he is. What if it's your adult narcissistic child? You may have to separate from them too, honey. I would say, if that's your kid, never stop praying, never stop standing for them. But some, and I have a friend who, she was going through it so tough with her son. She's, I think, in her 60s, and her son was like in his, I think, late 30s, 40s. And he was just so abusive to her. He lived in the house with her. He talked down to